allow us to either do our artwork here in the beautiful Hoboken Library or in the comfort of our own studio at home. Today, we are going to continue our celebration of Black History Month and acknowledge and laud and applaud the art of African American artists. Let's face it, African American people made this country the great country that it is today. And amongst those people, there are many who are visual artists. Today, we're going to look at the work of a contemporary artist, Rashid Johnson. I'm going to start out with full disclosure. For me, Rashid is a challenge to explain. He is what we call a conceptual artist, which means for him, the ideas behind his work, the concepts behind his work, are often more important than the finished product. So you may find what I'm going to show you, examples of his work, you may find those images and pictures not very appealing or visually attractive. And that is because it is not his intent or purpose to make work that is beautiful to look at or attractive. So it's hard for me to put into words all the time what it is he's trying to convey, because it's about ideas and thoughts and concepts. So as always, I'm going to start with a short slideshow about his work. I invite your comments and thoughts, your concepts and ideas about his work. I'm going to give you what little information I know about his work. I don't have a full understanding of what he's trying to do, but I do have an appreciation of what he's trying to accomplish. So any questions so far? All right, here we go. After we do the slideshow, I'm going to do a quick demonstration of an option of what you can do to create your own artwork today. And then those of you who are here, I'll show you where the materials are that you can use. And then you're free to either create something using the method that I'm going to show you or create something of your own design. Folks at home, you're going to have to hunt around your house for materials to use, and then you can proceed by either copying one of Mr. Johnson's works or doing something inspired by looking at his work. All right, so let's look at the slideshow of his work. So he's a controversial artist in the art world. There has been mixed reaction to his work, even amongst other African American artists and critics. So that might help you to understand why it is difficult for me as a white woman to try and explain to our diverse group here exactly what his work is about. I can only relay to you what little I have read and seen through his work. I have seen his work here in New York City, and I have a certain idea of my own about what I've experienced through looking at his work. Does that mean I understand it or know everything there is to know about it? No. As always, I encourage you to look further into what he does if you are so inclined. All right. Rashid Johnson was born in 1977. Again, he's an American artist who produces conceptual art, and he calls it post-Black art. And I'm going to try and define that for you. He first received critical attention in 2001 at the age of 24, when his work was included in a show called Freestyle, which was curated by Thelma Golden, who is the head of the Studio Museum in Harlem. If you've never been there, you should go. It is right here in Harlem, New York City. They're starting to expand. They're going to become bigger, but at the moment, they're a small, wonderful museum in Harlem. Many of the artists, particularly Black artists that we've talked about, have been launched by the Studio Museum in Harlem. I can't recommend it highly enough. He studied at Columbia College in Chicago and the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, and his work has been exhibited around the world. Okay. This is one of his signature pieces and styles. As a student in Chicago, for relaxation, he would often go to the Turkish bath that was near the college. And he spent many hours meditating and thinking in the Turkish bath. And he loved the white tiles on the wall. So as an adult artist, he started using white tiles. Now, it's hard to see in this digitized image that this work is on white tile. And he often uses something called shea butter. Shea butter comes from Africa. It's a moisturizer, excuse me, that African people use. Now that I am married to an African man, I've become addicted to shea butter. It's lovely stuff that moisturizes your skin beautifully. And he actually paints with shea butter. So he does these mixed media works on white tiles using things like shea butter and tar and paint, etc. So this is one of his installation pieces. He's known for several bodies of work in different media, including photography and painting. He's also a filmmaker and a sculptor. You might have seen the movie that he produced. Give me one moment. Liz? Quite famous, yes. Richard Wright's novel Native Son. He produced the film with Susan Laurie Parks, and HBO produced it in 2019. It was at the Sundance Film Festival. So he's quite an accomplished multimedia artist. Not only does he do these installation pieces, but he does major film works. So he says, this is quote from him. This is another one of his tile piece installations. I was very proud when Barack got the nomination, but I wasn't proud for Black people. I was kind of proud for white people. Rashid Johnson comments on the post-Black concept in the context of his country electing its first African-American president. He says, quote, he uses alchemy, divination, astronomy, and other sciences that combine the natural and spiritual worlds to augment Black history. According to a Columbia College Chicago publication, Johnson works in a variety of media with physical and visual materials that have independent artistic significance and symbolism, but that are augmented by their connection to Black history. So here you can get a sense of how large his installation pieces can be. So he has attained and garnered national attention, both for his unusual subject matter and for his process. He also uses a photography technique where he exposes photographic paper to sunlight and he puts unusual things on it like chicken bones, which is a commentary on foods that African American people like to eat. For example, chicken. I don't know if I have any examples of that. As always, I invite your comments. Do you like his work? Do you not like his work? All comments are welcome.
There's a lot of texture, which makes them very captivating.
Yes, Ken, a lot of texture in his work, a lot of repetition, a lot of movement. I find it very exciting visually to look at. He certainly has a relationship with abstract expressionism. He does like to divide things into rectangles. He does have a love for that grid in this kind of work. So his most controversial exhibition was entitled Chicken Bones and Watermelon Seeds, the African American Experience as Abstract Art. This is mentioning again what I just spoke of. The subject matter was a series of stereotypical African American food culture items, such as watermelon seeds, black-eyed peas, chicken bones, and cotton seeds placed directly onto photographic paper and exposed to light. I don't think I have any images of that. Sorry. In 2002, he had an exhibit entitled Manumission Papers, which was named for the papers that freed slaves were required to keep to prove their freedom. Here is a single tile piece. It may be multiple tiles, but it's a close-up of the installation work that he does with the tiles. Why? Can you articulate why, Jen? It's very mosaic, yes.
Maybe Bible and African. It's really cool.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up. His stepfather was Nigerian of Nigerian ancestry, and he says that he was greatly influenced by his stepfather's culture. His stepfather entered his life when he was quite young.
It looks like a little ribbon.
It does look like maybe an AIDS ribbon.
Is it meant to be representational?
I don't know. I wish
I'm
the
not
artists
sure.
were here.
I'm not
I
sure
know
if
what
it's
you're
in-
referring to. In the very upper right-hand corner, those of you who are here, you can see me point to it. Right here, we're talking about. Could be.
What would it be?
An AIDS ribbon. Breast cancer would be pink.
Right.
He is in his personal life, if you are interested. He is married to the artist Sherry Havsepian. They live in New York City and have a son. I think I focused on these images primarily in the slideshow, I guess. I get so frustrated by digital images because when I enlarge them so that everyone can see them, they get so blurry. I mention this every class. This is one of his drawings. So Visually, he does think about the elements of art, shape and line and texture. He definitely plans ahead. I'm going to go through these a little quicker now so that we can start thinking about what we are going to create. I did want to mention a bit about the criticism of his work. Let me see if I can find it now. There was a Black critic who criticized his work as being quote unquote sloganeering, which I thought was kind of interesting. I'm not sure what that means, sloganeering.
It does say look up to that.
Oh, these are his latest things. I don't understand them. But he does these installations. This is, I believe, our final slide. This is actually at the new museum, and I saw this piece. He brings in plants, and there was an explanation for this near the piece. The plants, I think, are primarily tropical, but I am not sure. They have some connection to Black history and Black culture.
Well, he's still working with textures.
Yes, and that grid. You're absolutely right, Ken.
But some of that kind of resembles nature.
And his involvement with science and natural objects. Again, it's
looking through the texture, trying to figure out what's going on.
yes. And as he stated, he uses alchemy, divination, astronomy, and other sciences that combine the natural and spiritual worlds to augment Black history. I can't seem to find that information about the negative criticism he has received. But it is important to know that his work is very controversial. If I find that, I will read it to you during the class. But the term post-Black now refers to art in which race and racism are prominent, but where the importance of the interaction of the two is diminished. So interesting. His work has been exhibited at the Art Institute of Chicago, the Whitney Museum of American Art, New York, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Detroit Institute of the Arts, the Walker Art Center in Minneapolis, the Corcoran Museum of Art in Washington, D.C., the Institute of Contemporary Photography, New York, Brooklyn Museum, Museum of Contemporary Art, Chicago. So he is definitely well known and doing quite well. Any other thoughts, ideas? All right. So Rashid Johnson, I think he's interesting. I think fascinating as far as concept and visual imagery. If you want, find out more about him. Today, for our artwork, I want us to focus on printmaking. Those of you who are veteran students of mine, we've done some of this before. We are going to do a form of printmaking today that I'm going to do a quick demonstration of. You're probably going to remember this kind of printmaking from elementary school. It is a method that adult artists use, including Andy Warhol. That's a name you all recognize. But when he was alive, Andy Warhol did printmaking with vegetables. And we today are going to do printmaking with potatoes. I have brought in potatoes. I'm going to do a quick demo of how to use potatoes to make prints. Those of you who are here, you can opt into using them or not. As always, I brought in a variety of materials for you to use. If you do not want to print with potatoes, you do not have to. I'm going to show you other materials that you can print with. Those of you at home, if you don't have potatoes available, any other hard object, flat stones, carrots, any other hard object that you have around your home that you are able to sacrifice in the name of art and that you don't have a problem with covering with paint are usable. Buttons, plastic containers are good. Egg cartons are terrific for this kind of printmaking. So folks at home, gather up materials that you have around your home. I'm not giving you a subject today, but I am offering you this as a framework for your project. Think about the grid as Mr. Johnson did. Think about texture as your main focus in your project. And it is, I always hesitate to say this, it is almost Valentine's Day. If you want to use Valentine's Day as a concept for your project today, feel free. Any questions about what we're making today? Are we just tired or?
The law all night.
Yeah. Those of you who are here, I recommend before you go to get materials, you watch my demo, and then you can get stuff that you need. There is enough for everyone to use, so you don't have to panic about there not being enough for everyone. And I guess that's it. All right, I am going to do the demo where our wonderful staff person, Laura, is standing. I recommend you either sit where you are and watch me on the screen, or you stand where Laura is standing. Those of you at home, you're going to see the demo on the screen. After Laura and I are done with the demo, I'm going to put a picture of Mr. Johnson's work up on the screen if you would like to copy what he has created. As always, I think copying is a wonderful way to learn.
Liz, quick question. Can we use paper?
Yes,
egg
Margo.
cartons? Paper egg cartons? Will they work?
Paper or plastic, either. Try them both if you're lucky enough to have both. Eggs are hard to get these days.
Yeah, no, I have the paper ones, cardboard, whatever.
Yeah, that should work. Okay, so Laura, hide self-view is what I should do?
Remove the spotlight, remove the pins in the upper left-hand corner. Left hand,
Remove pin.
there we go. And then remove spotlight. Remove. And I'll spotlight myself. That's perfect. And the spotlight. Oh, you did spotlight.
Thank you. All right, so all I need is a chair. And we're good to go. So I brought in a variety of knives. You should be able to work with this regular butter knife. If not, we're probably gonna have to share the sharp knife. So potatoes are great to use because they're hard and firm. And you can cut potatoes into a variety of shapes. Yeah, the butter knife is almost brought in plastic. You can use it flat like this. The oval is a wonderful shape. Or you can carve other shapes. Or challenge because of arthritis. Don't hesitate to ask people around you to help carve. Okay? No shame in that. I'm always asking people these days to help me. You could even carve a Valentine. Potato love. So you see how I've made a rectangle. The other wonderful thing is people around you are going to be carving multiple shapes, swap and share shapes. You can even take a brush, press holes into the potato to give nice texture or form to the potato. And then basically, this potato is kind of juicy. If you have a paper towel handy, you can sop up some liquid. And I've only brought in white, red, and black paint today. But I have brought in white and colored paper. Thank you. So you can dab some of the water of the potato off. And you can use the cardboard or any paper you can use as your palette, including paper towel. But you can think of this as your wood block or your block for printing. And ink up. I wish I had printer's ink, but I don't. We're just using acrylic paint. Any thick, those of you who are at home, any thick kind of paint, oil paint would work well with this. Tempera paint should work. And you have a block to print with. Okay, so my first one, I had too much paint. It's too wet. So I'm gonna just press it again and see if I get a better image. I like that one better. When you print, you're not gonna get a smooth, flat, perfect surface. It's going to be textured, and you want to realize that and think about that and work with it. It's never going to be like this, okay? Because you're printing. Now the potato is wet, which also causes this kind of smearing too. So you can keep a piece of extra paper to one side. You can always print on the paper first to see how it's going to look, and then print on your finish. Also, if you stand up, it's actually better because you can exert a more even pressure when you print. See, there's less smearing if you stand up when you print. So that's the basic idea of printing.
How did you get the idea of the tape?
Oh my gosh. Because it's just something everybody does.
Okay.
Vegetable printing has been around for like a century. And it's done in many art forms, fabric making. They've done vegetable printing on fabric for like forever. So I did promise other ways of printmaking. Cardboard is a bad thing. This kind of corrugated cardboard, you can peel the layer off. And underneath is the ribbed cardboard. Take some patience, with that knife, dig away. Also becomes a beautiful thing to print with. You have to work quickly with cardboard though, because why? Any guesses? It's very absorbent, yes. And you may want to reverse the process by putting the paper on top and pressing from the back. Off, and you can see it makes a great impression. You can also take the edge Of course, you can do it with all three colors. You don't have to use just white. And there's different colored paper back there. You can experiment in that way. Have fun. I have a couple of requests. Do not use the scissors to cut the potatoes, please. It will ruin the edge of the scissors, destroy them. And if you use knives for printmaking, make sure you clean them really well. And don't use the sharp knives for paint. Okay, you can use the duller butter knives for that, but don't use the sharp. Karen.
You don't use that to cut the potato?
This is for potato, but don't put paint on it.
Oh, okay.
Make sense?
You're gonna have another hat.
You may. And even the little bits that you cut off, you can print with them too. Everybody see that?
Liz, can I cut the cardboard with the scissors?
You can cut the cardboard with the scissors, absolutely. Lisa, take that back there so everybody can use it, please. Don't leave the piece here. Somebody can take this potato and this brush. Oh, you want it? Careful, don't cut standing up. Do not use the knives while walking or standing. Can't believe I have to tell you. Only cut with the knives while you're sitting down. Yikes. There are a lot of songs about potatoes.
Dirty potatoes.
Have fun, everybody. You do not have to print today, but try it.
I know, I'm going to.
Right, so we can now, Laura, let's put a picture up on the screen. Yes, ma'am. All right, so Mr. Johnson, different kind of work from what we've looked at so far. Although yes and no. We've looked at, like, he's a lot like Basquiat.
Very New York.
Very New York, particularly right now.
No, we'll probably put it back on the table. Okay, thank you.
We'll look at this one. Folks at home, if you could let me know, you can see this. Interesting, right, Ken?
Do you know what's the title?
I never do that kind of research, so I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sure you
It-
could look it
looks
up.
like, first it looks like an upside down robot. and
It
then
does. It looks like this image is upside down,
And it
but
looks
it's
like-
not.
The floor plan of a large space,
It does.
public space.
It does, but you can see in the image, that's the floor. So the picture is not upside down.
I may use it or I may not.
And,
Yeah, it could be like the floor plan of an ancient temple or something.
yes, yeah,
It's very, very interesting.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think the image with the plants too, the installations with the plants is also about his own personal workspace. He has a lot of plants in his home and studio. He also has done bookshelves. He just puts bookshelves in the museum filled with books. He's a very deep thinker. Did I mention his wife is also an artist?
Yes.
I know how to say it.
And then Simon, we feel,
His wife is gorgeous. I think his wife is Lebanese.
Iranian.
Iranian. thank
They're
you.
nice looking.
I was close. Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, they're a really good looking couple.
And the sun is. Yeah, you have to be patient. See, this is beautiful. I agree. Yeah, you gotta use a lot of. This I don't want, Lisa, no, don't use the knife to cut the cardboard, use the scissors. Here. Please don't use the knives to cut the cardboard. They're my kitchen knives. They are, I cook with this, so use scissors.
All for the sake of art, do that.
It's my kitchen knife, no.
Great. is what it is.
So guys, don't use the knives to cut the cardboard, please. The knives are for the potatoes. I should, invest in utility knives for this. I've never done this. Yeah, see, it's working. You have to use a lot of paint with the cardboard, though, right?
yeah.
And you have to be patient, so but I love this. And then when you're done, you
Do
can.
a layer of another color.
Yeah,
Makes it
exactly.
potato.
Yeah. Yeah, you can be very dramatic with black, white, and red. Here we go. Here's the negative. Chicago Tribune art critic Alan G. Ardner said Johnson's audio selection imposed his artistry on all the other exhibits once he chose a rap song combined with blunt video. Ardner became a Johnson detractor in 2005 when Johnson had this and another simultaneous exhibit appearing in Chicago. He described Johnson's exploration of the politics of race as, quote, sloganeering or cute self-advertising in his two-dimensional works, and his apolitical three-dimensional installations as, quote, glib and superficial representation. So those of you who are aspiring to professional art careers know that your work can create controversy.
Is a black critic?
I thought so, but we should really double check that. Alan G. Ardner. Oh. No, I'll check. Alan G. Ardner. I will check, because that is interesting. There's a blogger who says this man needs to retire. So this art critic is not very popular either.
The blogger says the critic needs to retire?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm having a tough time. You just gotta keep going. Keep digging in there.
Oh, it's difficult. It is, so I would make
I was
it
gonna check
bigger.
out in the days.
Oh. I would try and make it bigger. I would take your undercut potato and I would try and make it bigger, trying to fill the whole size of the potato.
Then that's, you could don't be good in the.
Oh.
I was just thinking.
So you have a choice. You can either cut into it, or you can cut away from it so it projects outward.
Let's see what they do. I mean, see.
So cutting curves in this kind of media. It's gonna be hard. I would do the framing again. Larger shapes first. Let me explain again. You can cut into the potato. So then the downside would be black and surrounding area would be colored. Or you can cut away from the Valentine and then the Valentine would be the future. So if you make it big like this, then that's easier to do. We can make it little like this, I would cut out the middle of it. That's up in art. Mistakes are a wonderful opportunity to learn and correct. Now, see, it's a little spiky, you can go back and repair that. Smooth double curve. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm trying to find an image of, oh, he is actually white. Yeah, he has a lot of nerve for saying what he said. He should say whatever he wants, but that shows a lot of guts too, I think. The art critic who said that he is a white art critic who called this black artist's works sloganeering.
Found his art also, you know, very abstract. I mean, he's standing behind his watermelon and chicken wings, whatever. The white artist maybe wouldn't be able to do.
Well, this is a very interesting point about cultural appropriation that I have constantly with my own work. And it is probably one of the most salient questions about art today, I think. Because every artist steals from every other artist through the history of art, since the beginning of art. And what is appropriation and what is building upon what went before? It's so interesting, and no one knows the answer to that question. What is plagiarism and what is borrowing? Yeah, that is the whole point. You're right, baby. Almost done. It was kind of interesting to take a little bit of white. Not all. Yeah, it's maybe a little bit of red.
Yeah, I'm gonna layer some color, so let that dry.
Yeah.
I thought, and I don't know anything about it. I thought I don't know.
And even
The reference to this,
Yeah, I guess.
But I thought with him when he said Basquiat, yes, but also the repetition reminded me of Warhol too, right? So like I was wondering if it was multiple, and I was trying to look close to see if it
No,
was,
they're
they're not.
The white, black.
And then, here's the other there, so my 9-year-old daughter inspires me, she's in college. With the, all of the were like robot-y eggs, like cartoony, reminded me of Keith Haring, so I thought it was like a little of all three of them until this, and then it's, I don't know.
well, interesting. I think it's Rashid who said, I can't really draw. I'm an artist who can't really draw. But now he's going back to try and do more representational work. So his newer work is much more representational, less robotic looking. I haven't seen his newer work. It is interesting. But he was rebelling against, so the history of contemporary African American artists, very representational. Most of the new young African American artists, their work is very realistic representation.
Right,
Figure
yes.
art. And he was part of a wave of Black artists who were rebelling against that and being much more conceptual. There's a guy named Mark Bradford, who I absolutely love, who's part of Rashid's kind of cadre. Found object artist, conceptual. And we've talked about Mark Bradford in this class, but I bet nobody remembers Heather. She's not here today. Heather's probably in Ecuador, you know? Lady.
Really?
Oh. Left at midnight. That's nice. Now, I cut my potato in half. You could cut your potato into multiple pieces. You don't have to just do two. You could cut it into thirds. I just forgot to tell you that.
I don't, cut regular vegetables.
Well, if you hate cooking like I do,
Me too.
cutting vegetables
Yeah, it's the
is
worst.
anathema. Yeah. You're the artist. I do love how this is kind of going off that engine.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be exciting, but this is great. You're having fun, so I'm not gonna stop you. Who's ready?
Yeah, I started this and I don't like it. So
Okay, I like this. And they did, we need to worry about all that. Yeah, we take a piece and take on, right?
Yeah, they were long. They're longer, I said, for home speech. They're gonna love, of course, they would, they'd be like our leader.
But Tamara has invented.
Ah, I know that. They put it out, fold it up paper.
It's making pork. Yeah, it's regular paper, you fold it up. Oh, I like this one. So, well, it starts at 4.
No, I'm not those.
Yeah. Did the hard work. Yeah. Good, I'm experiment with the amount of paint.
What do you think?
I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
The ever-changing ball.
I love it. I love it. You guys are so inventive. I am the luckiest person on the planet. This needs more, Dan. Keep doing more
What?
of everything. Make it as abstract as you possibly can, layer upon layer upon layer. That's my advice. This is great. I don't know. I've had teachers who are, all they do is criticize. What's the point? No, really. I try to offer helpful advice. Yeah. The edge. Yeah. It's good. Keep doing on top of them until it's unrecognizable. Make layers and layers and layers. Make it thick. Put it over here. Keep going, okay? Keep going. But I hope you're having fun. Remember, this artist claims not to think about the finished product at all. That's not the point of his making. So let go of what it's gonna look like in the end. It doesn't really matter. Oh, right, drop it. Stars. Look out. You want some paper towel? You give me a quick pick, but a whole this instead of. Well, that's a good idea. You should take that one, so the second everything. This is like, it's like fun. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I do this with kindergarten. It's fun. It did. But Andy Warhol did potato printing. And he did it early in his career for advertising campaigns. It's a totally legitimate way to make art.
Some application, so I can't see what we're doing. Oh, I like the collage. I like the red and black paper, trying to see if you can do something. I think it's
Lisa, this is so nice. Oh, she glued it on? Let's start with the pink. What?
blue six, yeah.
Grab another one, you have time. With this colored paper, it's so small. Do 2 or 3. Folks at home, you good? Did you find stuff to print with? Yes? Looks that way. It's beautiful. Do another one. You have time.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you for coming. I hope to see you whenever you can.
I hope, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Yeah, we have time to do another one, Lisa.
This is like, Picasso. Yeah, you don't know what it is, but it looks nice. The minute she says start. She said the right word. My perfect. I know, then you get better. Of course, I love it. Very colorful. Oh, what a beautiful phone. Yeah, it's like that. Let's go. Flying around.
Life when you do the technical effects on the heart, more than solid ones. It's such a more ingestion, right? But it's much more interesting. I'm gonna work on it. You don't recognize anything.
Yeah,
I'm gonna,
we
got one more in this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Sam. Because you have blue sticks. This makes me think of a problem on a building.
Yeah, I like that.
So I thought that would be an interesting contrast.
You'll have to use a lot of it. It's, you probably need hours to make that stick, so just use a lot of it.
Okay.
Oh, and you're in black on black, boy, I'm changing it. Nice.
This is conceptual, I have to tell you the concept. This, that's not finished. Good, I like it.
Do another
The
one.
minute you said, the minute you say, you keep saying, it's way, that's all I need. That's all I need. Good.
I want you to relax and enjoy
I have too many ideas.
Well, having too many is a good thing. Look about the people who have none.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'm still thinking, yeah.
A chance to do multiple of these. Once the first one dries, you may start thinking about cutting it up and using it for collage. Second or third piece of art. Yep, my trick. Forceful with. No, it's just, I just always think that. How to push the envelope. Yeah. What kind of jam? Once you're done with the first picture, maybe you can walk around and ask people if they're willing to share their shapes. Oh, good, you two are copying the artist's image. It's a great way to learn how to draw. Amazing Samuel. I love this picture. I like it a lot. If you have time to do another one, you have like a whole half hour to go. I'm sorry,
I've been serving in.
okay. He's wild. I used to, but, one of the library, it's reconfiguring its program. Good.
Cardboard boxes.
Good, and it really, even with children, as young as kindergarten, start with that. So they get a sense that it's the real profession. Anything you can do to encourage her, and that's, can be romantic works. What? Well, I wouldn't encourage people to do it all the time.
Right.
I think every once in a while. And usually when people buy bags of kids.
I think we have to going back.
That are not to be used for cooking. So those would be the ones. Mom, I would opt for the one.
Doesn't matter.
People should be I don't really encourage people to do
Well, I think that's wise.
I mean, it's like the old term, you can't have the cake.
And eat it too. You are right. But Mom, the other good thing, apples are good.
Oh, yeah.
Oranges, lemons. Yes.
So I can use that.
Okay, now that's a little bit more.
Yeah. We buy it all the time because the kids, it's, you know, you buy a bunch of bananas, we go run, right? You don't have them on those, so it's like I never have the right amount of things. And then she's big on apples one week and then the next week had enough. Yeah.
Gotta go eat the yard and meet very bad. Because I was saying, I could cook that.
Right, well.
Well, they're not,
so-
so.
And then there's always compost, which I make for the compost. Folks at home, you're good? Yes, Joe? Check back in soon.
So yeah, you have a lot going on. Yeah, well, so you have to start thinking about bringing stuff together. Okay. This means something. This is hopefully rainbow springs, this love. But we can hold navigate.
Which we all do.
Right,
Why
right.
not?
So the composition.
They're fighting with each other.
Yeah.
And you need to somehow, even if you got some water, okay, and you rinse your brush and you use some of that dirty water to create the kind of background
I'm
that,
open to every suggestion.
that's all the
Okay.
shapes start
Okay.
coming
Because
together.
I wanted to do something.
That I would stop adding stuff now
Yeah,
and start
no,
thinking about
okay.
your back.
Okay, great. I'll do that. Thank you.
You're at that stage now where you want to think of the overall concept instead of individual parts.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And every artist comes to Oh, I forgot to tell you, she left.
I want to get to look at.
Hey, she left. Group every week prior to the class to let them know that we're gonna look at it. You want to be on my, okay, so write down your, you know, Lindsay, are you?
I got it. I used to get a birthday one and then once you stop getting.
And if she ever has vacation.
That was, and she's.
But she's welcome to come and she doesn't.
Yeah, I.
As long as she doesn't.
How old is she?
Could maybe try it and that kind of one of them and see how it looks. Did you walk here today?
What do you think?
You look good. I thought you were looking so pretty and healthy. I didn't put any makeup.
But this was ready before, oh no?
I don't know, I just discovered today, it's red.
No, reflection.
No. Did you walk here today?
Yeah, I walked.
Are you hot?
It's one way now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Much
guys are
closer.
hot.
Look at
Take
my
one
eyes.
of your layers.
Yeah, but the layers are unnecessary.
Okay, take this off.
Yeah, I'm not shopping there.
I'm not even.
Not shopping, it's hard. They're supporting, all recommendations, from the DEI. Finding. I really want to.
Guys, in about 14 minutes, so I'm letting you know. Yes.
And you're very close to them.
It's similar, but we look at a different markets. And we usually pick a different product.
Yeah, I saw, like I said,
So that's, but that's done through the city. And I said that was separate from that, so you want me to put you on that list?
Thank you so much, Fred.
But,
Thank you.
and Lindsay, and then another. Oh, it's like, she's watching me. Yeah, I'm wondering where you were going.
I don't know where I'm going.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I like that.
I've never been.
That's the other one.
From heat, yeah.
It's true. Then I'm sitting for a while. The ingredients making the whole thing. Yes. What do you think this is gonna do? I don't know why you're not using a brush. You have to do with a big brush.
You're right.
Okay.
Oh, yes, you did.
Did you call me? Yes, there you go. And I want to use the brush and more water. Spread it. Well, just a lot. Loose water. Spread it. As close as it is. You don't make it neat. It doesn't have to be neat. There's a lot.
Are you hot?
Oh.
Oh, really?
Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. How did you use them?
Yeah. It's already. I haven't gotten used to it yet. I mean, it's like the door, right? And it's just.
Okay, everybody sees different. Thinking of the door of, this
Yeah.
No, maybe and I can. Okay, bye-bye, nice to see you. Congratulations. Bye.
You still have time to work. I see people cleaning already. You don't have to.
Oh, what are the small cards? And big cards. Yeah. Put it in your oven. But don't hit it. Does that have a knife around? Yes. Oh. Too much. There, my husband. Flying around. And you show us to the board. The girl. It's a video. It's all of it. It's nice. Where's your mind go? It's a picture. Oh, it looks like a road. Oh, the difficult kind of entrance. It was a or my sister's name.
Cause I had those tiles. And so
You know, my intention was.
I like that.
The world trade.
Yeah, very nice thing. And you would say,
12. I don't know, our energy.
Well, it's ever changing, it was dark that time. You never know what's gonna happen with that party, you know?
Yes, if you don't say,
My children say you're not going as far as my mom still gets mad.
No, it was meaning to me. It looks like a just water.
Wow, that's great. That could really be like a car. Without, like, if you didn't express the way you were really feeling.
You know, it's perfect car, they got a bleeding heart, angel, and hope, with ladybug, brother ladybug. Oh, I love that.
So you put down the walls.
Is this how you were feeling about Valentine's?
Good.
It's just me like experimenting.
I love card. I really do. I always enjoy, I like how it changes the colors and stuff like that. I always like it. Reminds me of the city. Yes. This is awesome.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Brings out the best in us.
Yes.
Is that like that?
I finished, Liz. I never finished. Now, I stay quiet. That, my project. Thank you, I'm trying to make some.
Goodbye, ladies, you don't wanna stay to share?
This is gonna be my Valentine decoration for my door.
Can I see it?
For my door.
Oh, it came out so beautiful. Love it.
I wish I had a door today, you know.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I
do, but I don't.
Yeah.
I've never not had a dog in my adult life. I've been cat for years. And I said to my mother, I don't wanna walk the dog at midnight. And I do it, and you don't.
Your dog, I can hold your dog.
I tried, it has to go to work. And I live in an apartment.
Like 9 o'clock, he's done, then I eat, he wakes her up.
Yeah, no, he doesn't want to, and I don't wanna, it is, and you know what too, I go to yoga now. Like I really consistently go to yoga. This is really 2 weeks for myself. But I think my dog and little right
It's
now.
like having a baby, no matter what age.
They always have to find on the spot.
That's what I said.
All exist.
It's like having a baby, no matter what it has to do. All right, well, people here are cleaning up, even though I'm telling them not to. My whole professional career as a teacher, I've never been listened to. Things never change. So folks at home, we're starting to wrap up here. Oh, actually, it's 1 minute till cleanup, so. Oh, I got a Libby notification. That's exciting. So Libby, you can borrow an electronic book. So one of my books has come in. I'm going to borrow it. You can borrow books on your Kindle. Did you know that? Do you have a Kindle?
No.
Oh, you don't? You can borrow free books from
Yeah,
public
I think
library.
they have Kindle software for books in general.
Yes.
So I suppose, so.
Yeah, there's Book Nook, I think, or Nook. And you can get free electronic books through the library.
What
It's
did you
called
borrow?
Libby. You get an app called Libby.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
And you just type in the name of the book you want to borrow, and the library will let you know if they have it and when it's going to be available, and you get in the queue to borrow it. And boom, now I got it. I only have 2 weeks to read it. So that means I have to stop reading the book I'm already reading and read the library book. So that's the only drawback.
Right. Yeah, sticking to deadline.
Yes. All right, folks, here now we must clean up, and there is a lot of cleaning to do. So let's clean up quickly, please. And then folks who want to share will do sharing. The painted potatoes, unless you want to keep them, let's get rid of them. I cannot reuse them. You could take them home, dry them out, and reuse them.
Thank you, Wed.
So nice meeting you, Celeste. You did beautiful work. Come again, please. And bring your daughter if she is free. I'm going to stop the share of this picture now. In a minute or two, folks here are going to share first today. I think it's our turn to go first.
I'll go. I'm ready.
Well, let's give people a couple more minutes to clean, if you don't mind, Jen.
I saw it, but I didn't see it.
And it was snowing.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything.
Oh, really? I was just thinking to myself, yeah, he's. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. When I was here to see it. Oh my God.
All right, Jen, you can share. So we're going to start sharing, folks, which means if we could stop talking and give Jen the floor so that we can hear what she has to share about her work.
Okay.
Jen is for, you have to stand here by the computer so everyone can see. Hold it up. All right, Jen, what do you want to tell us about your work?
I was inspired by the tile. And I was also feeling a little Warhol. And I love how the potato changed the shade of the heart each time. So it became the ever always changing heart.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Well done. I love the whole idea of multiples. Yes. She used the cardboard as a base for her work. All right, Daniel, do you want to go next? Tell us all.
Nice.
I
Oh,
just feel it
the root unicorn.
The root.
Unicorn, very nice. I love it.
That's terrific.
I love the
And then
background
the
too.
background with potato, right?
Mm. That kind of combination of that, yeah, and cardboard.
And cardboard.
Very cool. I love it.
It's terrific.
Wow. Thank you, Daniel.
Love it.
And Brenda, right? No, not today. Oh, it looks like, you sure? Lindsay. Impressed by the folks who cut curves, curvy shapes, organic shapes.
Seems like everything's
Oh, I love that.
seems like everything's in crosshairs right now. So
Beautiful.
Very nice.
Terrific. Wow.
Like orange.
Everything's in crosshairs right now.
Yeah.
Lindsay, so making commentary about what's going on in the world right now. Thank you. Maya, are you gonna come? Are you guys gonna come?
You go.
Hold it up a little higher. You want to talk about what you've created?
I wanted to make a nice Valentine Day card.
Yeah,
That's
you
beautiful.
succeeded.
You think?
And it's difficult to cut out the heart shape, right? Very hard to get those curvy shapes in potato.
Mhm.
I love the white on the dark background.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is so dramatic. All right, well done.
Thank you.
What's next? Keep going. Tell my process. You guys, you're fighting over it. Oh, you want to go? No. Oh. Watch the wire. All right, tell us about your process.
My process is I never follow anybody else. I never imitate the artist of the day. I just start out like not knowing what I'm doing. I start something and then something happens and then Liz comes and makes a couple suggestions and this is the result.
It's really great texture and beautiful colors.
Yes.
Oh, stop.
Look how
Okay.
beautiful.
Oh, wow. Very
Valentine's card, and they are doing some firecrackers around it. Around it. Okay, that's it.
And the light composition in you. There you go. Diane.
Just a little bit of hearts, some sad hearts, some,
Yes.
there's an angel in the corner.
Move a little to your left.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
And up
A bleeding heart,
Uh,
sad heart, a happy heart, all of my heart. It's just,
that's great. That's great.
thank you. It's just,
Texture in this one, beautiful.
and a little ladybug for hope,
Oh.
for spring.
Oh,
Happy Valentine's Day.
And yes, really. Really mixed media. I love all the different
I don't know if I
textures,
can get it all.
lines.
that's great. Beautiful.
A
Thank
lot of
you.
action in this. This one's
I like
explosive.
the use of the cardboard.
Yeah, so I didn't have a concept in mind. I was just like, okay, what can we do with this media? So, and yeah, I'm thinking of textures because of the slideshow today and the artistry we're seeing how you use a lot of textures and square shapes. So it's kind of like a bit inspired by what he was doing. but it's really risky. You know, I'm just putting down marks and thinking like, oh, I don't know where this is going. They're crazy. Who knows when it's going to be finished? I mean, you don't have a concept starting out. Like, how do you know when you're done? So eventually, Liz came around and said, "I think you're done." Okay. So and you know, there were glue sticks, so I thought, okay, I should try to do something with that, right?
Get it all in.
Great concept.
You don't always have to know the end when you begin. You can still create beautiful art. All right, Susan, you're next.
Oh, okay.
Spotlight you.
I did not have a potato, but I used things around my house.
Oh,
wow.
No potato. I used orange slices, some plastic stuff that I had, some stickers and cutout things, and I just, put paint on them, and then I decided it needed some more. So I got this little hand and I put black on the fingers and scraped the hand across.
Oh, how cool.
One of these things. Fireworks. One of these things. That was painting.
Okay.
That was painting the black on it. Cool.
Very inventive, Susan. Great.
I had a lot of fun, I must say.
Yeah, so you can, any kind of hard object around your
Mhm.
home, you can print with. And we love the colors on it. Susan, I
Thank
don't
you.
know if you heard the comments here, but many
Oh.
people are saying they love the
Oh,
color.
thank you. Thank you. A lot of fun.
You mean, did you use acrylic paint, Susan?
Yes, it's acrylic on black, like construction paper, kind of. Yeah, all acrylics. Mhm. Yeah,
Even
even
those
those.
different things that she found around her house.
Yeah, you get your healthy choice, and it comes with a little plastic thing with little holes in it. I use that a lot for
Can
painting.
you hold it up and show us what it looks like?
I threw it out because I got paint
Oh.
all over myself.
Okay. So
It's
it's
just
a kind of plastic container.
It's a little plastic thing. It's like and you just pour you pour the food into the gravy, so it's got little holes in it.
Okay.
I'll bring in one sometime when I eat it.
Okay. Yeah, if you go through your recycling bin, I'm sure
Yes.
tin cans are great. Think about the ridges on the side of a tin can.
Oh yeah.
If you
I have a lot of
paint
stuff.
in that and roll it across the paper, you can get wonderful texture.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, Margot, you are our final artist for today.
All right. Just basically was experimenting with cutout potatoes.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
you use potatoes. Wow.
That's terrific.
Very cool.
Yams.
Yams.
Yams. Okay, why not?
Very nice.
Is this
Wow.
And it's acrylic?
Yes, acrylic. Three colors, black, gold, and blue.
Gold. Okay, I was wondering if it was yellow, but it's gold.
Gold.
Can you turn it horizontally?
Sure.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
Particular. Yeah, and I played with the one stamp, saying what kind of,
Yeah.
this is not really.
Yeah, keep playing, and then you want to start pulling these shapes together into a more unified composition. It's great.
Great.
Yay! Folks at home, you can even use oranges. They're a little wet, but the segments in oranges can make really beautiful textural effects.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope you all enjoyed printmaking today. There are lots of different ways to do printing, and we will explore them in the future. I loved working with everyone today. Art on as usual. Stay warm and dry if possible. And I will see everyone next week.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.